open Excel from scratch. Go to your Start button and type in Excel. And let's pin this. You should have it Microsoft Office Excel 2010. Let's pin it to our taskbar. Right click and choose Pin to Taskbar. And I've already got mine pinned. But Pin to Taskbar, and it will appear down here. And then you can launch it by clicking this button. By default, it automatically opens to a blank spreadsheet. And then you can just begin typing in your cell to start your spreadsheet. Microsoft Office Excel is a spreadsheet program, and a spreadsheet is just a grid of rows and columns in which you enter text, numbers, and the results of calculations. The purpose of a spreadsheet, the reason why Excel was created, its main purpose, is to record, report, and analyze numerical data. And it's also to make repetitive calculations accurately. You can do thousands of calculations within seconds if you have formulas and you've referenced your cells correctly. So basically, its purpose is to perform calculations. Numbers can be added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided. Formulas are used to perform those calculations quickly and accurately. And then we will also learn about functions, which are pre-written formulas that are super easy to use to perform very complex mathematical operations. The nice thing about Excel is that you can change one cell, and you may have 5 or 10 other cells automatically update and recalculate based on that one cell. So it can save you lots and lots of time. Charts and graphs can also be used in Excel to represent the information graphically, again allowing for easier analysis of data. So let's take a look at the Word Excel window. Let's take a look at the Excel window. Of course, we have the ribbon up here, and then we have our ribbon tabs, our title bar up here. So all of this is fairly familiar to us. We also have the quick access toolbar that you can customize and add things to. And you've got the close file button and the close close the program button. Excel is set up as a grid of rows and columns, like we said, and you should see this kind of resembles Access, but Access's main purpose is to organize, store, and manage information. Pulling out queries and reports is what really makes Access a useful and powerful tool. Excel, what makes it a useful and powerful tool is its ability to perform calculations very quickly and easily. So we have a grid of rows and columns. The columns are labeled by letters, and the rows are labeled by numbers. So when we have a cell, its cell reference is the letter and the number. So this cell, and you can see it in the name box up here, we're in cell A1. Cell A1 is the active cell. If we type in the name box up here, well, let's get out of here. Let's just click on cell C6. You see the name box changes. If you need to quickly go to a cell, like one of the projects says, in cell G10, type in this formula. Then you can go in the name box and type in G10, and it doesn't have to be capital, and press enter, and it will take you to G10. So when you get on over in some of this areas, it's hard to tell if you're going to click on the right cell. You can always double check if you're in the right cell by looking at the name box, or if you want to get it right the first time, just type in, maybe I really meant to type in 17, and I accidentally clicked a row down because it's kind of hard to tell once we get over here. Then I can use the name box. To enter data, let's press Control and the Home key. Home is above your number pad. Control Home. And now let's enter our name. You can enter data or text into a cell several different ways. You can either click on the cell and type in your name, or let's press Tab to go to the next cell. We can also enter information by typing it in the formula bar. Go up here in the formula bar and type in your last name. And then to accept that change, you can either click this check mark button. If you click the check mark button, the active cell does not change. Also, if you go up here, just click back up here in the formula bar. If you press enter, it will return to the first place that you, in the next row where you started entering tabs. So just for example, press tab over several times and then press enter, and see your active cell will be the first one in the next row. And so now let's press the arrow key over and then press tab a few times and then press enter. So you see by this that your insertion point or your active cell will go back to where you started entering tab. And that can be very helpful for you to allow you to enter information more quickly. Instead of having to use your mouse to click back at the beginning of the row, just tab across and then you can press enter and it'll go back to the beginning. Until of course you do something different. So if you tab over and then you click here and then tab over again, it's going to go again where you started tabbing after that last action. So if you click or edit something, that kind of messes up the tab sequence there. Next, let's edit data. So let's put in our friend's name. No, let's put in our favorite. 3, 2, 1. Let's put in the name of this class and let's lowercase it. Okay, so we have this cell. Notice when we type in a cell in Excel, if there's nothing in the cells to the right, it will just overlap and overfill. But if we click in A2, that is where the information is. If we click in B2, that information is not there, and you can tell that there's nothing in that cell by the formula bar. There's nothing in there. So although it looks like it on our screen, there really is nothing in that cell. If we type in cell B2, your class period, notice that it hides the rest of what's in cell A2. The information is still there, it's just that the column is not wide enough to show that information. So we're going to go up here and auto fit the column. Double click on the column heading border, and that auto fits, and you can see that all that information is there. You can also adjust column widths by clicking and dragging, or right clicking, choosing column width, and typing in a width. Okay, so all of that is ways to adjust your column width, but that information is still there. Alright, let's double click on computerized business applications in cell A2. When you double click on a cell, it goes into edit mode and you see your insertion point blinking in there, ready for you to edit the cell contents. go to the beginning and press and capitalize the C, capitalize the B, and capitalize the A. So that is how you can edit cell contents. So instead of retyping the whole thing, you can actually edit in the cell by double clicking the cell. I pointed out the quick access toolbar earlier. By default, I don't remember what you have by default. I think it's save, undo, and redo. I always like to have on there new, so update. Let's customize your quick access toolbar. Click on the drop down arrow, check new. I'm going to uncheck email. I don't want email on there. Print, preview, and print, and undo and redo. Make sure those are all checked for your quick access toolbar. Now let's look at fast ways to work in Excel. Microsoft Office programs have key tips. Key tips are activated when you press the Alt key. Press the Alt key and you see numbers and letters that appear on the ribbon and the quick access toolbar. So if you want to save, you could do Alt and then 1, and that will save this document. Let's go ahead and create a new folder. Name it Excel and your name. Click Open and name this file. Save this as Excel Practice 1 and your name. Again, put your actual name, don't type in the words your name, and then save. Alright, now let's use our key tips. Let's click Alt. Let's choose File. So File tab is the letter F, so type the F. And you see that you can, let's close this file now using our key tips. Close. Okay. When we start Excel, if we need a new file, we can do our key tab, key tip, File, so F, and then N. And we can see that we can start a new blank workbook. Okay. We're actually going to close Excel. Okay. Now let's type something in cell A1, and let's just type and tab, and then we're going to pretend that we've got a lot of information here. Just click and we're going to scroll down to about row 70 and type some information here. So you have a big long spreadsheet and you may need to see labels. Actually, let's do this first name. Let's change this. When you type in a cell, if text is already there, it overwrites the text. Alrighty. And notice, I just want to show you that when we type in a cell like this one, it begins to look for previous cells with information in them, and it will give you suggestions. To ignore the suggestions, just keep typing. If you want to accept the exception, press enter. And so that's kind of like autofill. Well, it's different than autofill. It's automatically entering your, trying to guess what you want to type, and it'll automatically suggest words that you can accept without having to type it. So it's a feature to help you save time. Alright, so say we've got a long list of names and maybe we have other information And we need to be sure that we can see the labels at the top of the screen. A couple things we can do. One is to split the screen. Choose the split screen command here. And then you can scroll down in the bottom. See, I'm scrolling in the bottom area. And I can still see what labels are up here, and have the ability to see two parts of the screen at once. So maybe I need to copy row 70. I can click on the row selector here, the row number, and it selects the whole row. I can copy, and I can paste it up here in this row. Right click on the row and tell it to paste, and I can paste it without having to scroll down and scroll all the way back up. So that's an easy way. To remove a split screen, just drag it off the screen. Click and drag it down. And there you go. It's no longer split. And we still see, because we copied, we still have a record down here. Okay, now let's practice viewing two spreadsheets at once. Go into File, Open, and go and choose the network drive. I'm on a different computer, so you're going to choose the CBA Files drive. Then go into IT Academy, Excel, and then scroll until you find the sample data file 1 and double click to open it. Go through those same steps again. File, Open, go to your CBA Files drive, your IT Academy, and then the Excel folder, and open sample data file 2. Okay, so you have two data files. Let's view them side by side. Go to the View tab and click View Side by Side. And we're going to choose Sample Data File 1. And now we're looking at Sample Data File 2 and Sample Data File 1 at the same time on our screen. I don't like this. I would like to actually see them side by side, so I'm going to resize these windows. And I can size that one down and size this one up. And there. That's how we can see them side by side. You can turn on synchronous scrolling so that you can scroll both at the same time if you need to compare things. We're not needing to compare things, so synchronous scrolling we can turn off. And we could use this to copy and paste information to over here. So let's select this information. Click in cell A1, hold down and drag to select this information. And we can copy this information now to sheet 2. I've got stuff in sheet 2 there. Let's see if sheet 3 is empty. Nope, sheet 3's got stuff in it. So I can start a new sheet and paste information in there. And I want to paste yep, I'm going to choose paste information. Now, we got these pound signs, or a lot of students call them hashtag signs now. And this means you have numbers or numerical information for which the column widths are not wide enough. So when you see those hashtags or those pound symbols, auto fit or adjust your column width so that you can see your information. Let's go ahead and close sample data file 1 and save the changes. Now we can look at the title bar and see that we are in sample data file 2. And let's go to a new worksheet. An Excel file is a workbook, and it can be made up of one or many worksheets. This file has several worksheets, and I've renamed them all. Let's go to the Orders and Payments worksheet, and we see that this one is a fairly long worksheet. Let's go up here and let's use that split screen, and you can keep those titles on the screen by doing that, and view two parts of the window at a time. Let's remove it by clicking and dragging it up. You can also do a split screen by, on the View tab, clicking the split button, and remove it again by clicking the split button again to remove it. Another thing that you can do, you can freeze panes. If you click in this cell B2, click Freeze Panes and choose Freeze Panes. You can freeze the top row, and you can also freeze where you can go across and freeze the first column so that you can always have your main headings on at any time. The freeze command will actually freeze any rows or columns to the left and any rows above the cell in which you turn on the freeze panes. So for example, if I, well, first let's unfreeze the panes. And then if I'm in cell C4 or 5 here, C5, I can hit freeze panes, and it's going to freeze everything above that and everything to the left of that. Alrighty, so let's unfreeze panes here. And now let's use the help system to find information. To use the help, press the F1 button on your keyboard, or you can click the question mark, the blue circle question mark in the right hand corner. And let's type in merge cells and press enter. And we get a list of information. If it down here it just says offline, if you don't get the same screen, go down here and choose show content from MicrosoftOffice.com. And then we're going to hit search. And we can merge and unmerge cells. That's what we want. There's even a video for it, so you can click on the video. Click on the video and play it.
If you have a title that's too big to fit in one cell, or you'd like to align a title over multiple columns, you can merge multiple cells into one cell. Here's how. Let's say we want this title to be larger and centered across the top of the table. Select the cells that you want to use for the title. Make sure your text is in the upper left cell in the selected range. Then on the Home tab, in the Alignment group, click the arrow next to Merge and Center. Here you decide how you want to merge the cells. Let's click Merge and Center.
Okay, I'm going to pause the video now and close the help. You see how help works. It's very user-friendly. And what I do, if I don't find it in help, I go to YouTube, because most things you can find a video on YouTube how to do in Excel. In fact, I've learned a lot of things that way by just going to YouTube and looking things up on how to do certain things. Now let's practice navigating around in the worksheet, moving around quickly and easily. Let's go back up and review the name box. To go to a specific cell, we can type in the cell reference, which is the letter and the number of the column and the row. So type in G17 and press enter. So we've gone directly to that cell. You see your insertion point or your active cell is now G17. You can hit page up. Well, we are already at the top, so we can hit page down to go a page down and page up to go a screen up. So this moves it about a screen at a time from your insertion point. To go all the way home, press Control Home. Tab moves to the next cell. Shift Tab moves to the previous cells. So Tab, Shift plus Tab. The arrow keys, down arrow, will move a line at a time down. Up arrow will move a line at a time up. Left and right arrows move back and forth as well. When you press the Enter key, it enters data in the cell and moves down. So if you were typing, like if we go down here to A28 and we type in a name, if we press Enter, it goes down. In this case, we would probably want to hit Tab and go across though. To move back up, just click back up or press the up arrow, or you can click on the cell above it. If you do Control End, that goes to the end of where you have entered data. If you hit Control and the down arrow, that goes to the very last possible cell in the Excel spreadsheet. And you see that Excel has 1,048,576 rows. So if you had a lot of information, Excel will accommodate a lot of information. To try to go back up to the top, you can hit your up arrow or you can page up, but these will take a long time. So to quickly get to the first cell in your spreadsheet, remember Control plus the Home key. So Control Home takes you to A1. If you press Control and the right arrow, it'll take you to the last cell in the row that has the data entered into it. If you press it again, it will take you to the very last column available in your worksheet. If you press the over arrow, well, let's just talk about this real quick. This is XFD. So you've got A through Z, then you have AA, AB, AC, all the way through AZ, and then again. So we have many columns available. If you press that left arrow, you see that you just keep going to the left, trying to go back home. So again, if you're way over in your spreadsheet, press Control Home. If you need to get to the last column in your spreadsheet, click Control and the right arrow, and it'll take you to the last column that has data entered into it for that that row. Control and the down arrow again takes you to the last row that has data. Press it again and it will be to the end of your worksheet. Control Home to go home. To go to a specific cell, you can type it in the name box. So if we want to go to cell G37, it's a lot faster to type it in the name box than it is to scroll down to find it. Now let's close this sample data file too. You can click the close window button here, the bottom X. Don't use the top X, use the close window button, and that will close just the file, not the whole Excel program. And we are not really going to save these changes. Just click Don't Save. And so we should still have our file open that we've been working with. And we've already said that to enter data, we can enter it directly in the cell, or we can enter it in the formula bar. To edit the data, we can double click on it and change the information and press enter, or we can click this check mark button. To auto fit the column widths or to adjust column widths, either double click to auto fit on the right hand border of the column you're wanting to adjust, or you can click and drag. Okay, so let's auto fit column A and column B. Now we're going to enter information, a series of information. Excel has this wonderful feature called autofill, and so we can type in a date and have it automatically fill the series, or we can type in a couple of numbers and have it automatically fill the series. So let's click in cell C1 and type in the month January. Let's just type in January. Now, if you mouse over this little square in the bottom right hand corner, there's a little black square. Mouse over it and your mouse pointer changes to a plus sign. Click and drag over and you will see the little screen tips. It says February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Let's go all the way through December. So we have created or filled a series for our months of the year. This will also work. Let's delete that out. With all of that selected, hit the delete key to remove text. And let's do it with Monday. And fill that over. And we can fill a week in. So that is the autofill. Let's move over here. Well, not move over here. We need to insert a column. Right click on the column A heading and do insert. And we can insert a column. You can do the same thing with a row. Right click here and insert. Anyway, we're going to number each of our people. To do a number series, you need to have two numbers. So type in the number 1 and the number 2. Select both numbers and you can fill down. And you see it fills 1 through 36 in this case. This also works with patterns. Let's go over here. Let's just start a new little section. And let's do 10, 20. So if we want by tens, we can start the pattern and have it fill it. We can do another pattern by 15s. 15, 30, 45, okay. So we can do a fill pattern that way. We can also do this with dates. So let's put in today's date, or I guess it won't be today's date by the time you're doing this video. Type in 1/14/2015. Click on it, drag it down, and you see it goes all the way into February if you drag down far enough. So we are dragging that fill handle to fill down. You can also fill across. Remember what these hashtags mean? They mean that our columns aren't wide enough. So let's select these columns and double click on the right hand border of any one of those columns to auto fit so we can see our information. Alright, now let's save this workbook. Go to File, Save as. Go to your documents, to your Excel folder with your name in it, and then we're going to name this Excel Practice 2 in your name. Now let's get ready to print our worksheet. We always need to put a header or a footer on our information, so we're going to put a header with our name, our file and path name in it. So go to Insert and go to Header and Footer, and when you do Header and Footer, it changes to Print Layout View. So down here in your view, you've got Normal View and you've got Page Layout View. So it switches to Page Layout View. And then on the Design tab, you have these buttons in your ribbon. You can enter a page number, the number of pages, the current date, the current time, the file path, the file name, the sheet name. Okay, so we're going to click over here in this left-hand section and put in the file path. And it will say and path and file until we click out of this cell. Once we click out of that cell, it'll show us the file and path. I'm going to now go into the right-hand side of the tab, go back to that Design tab, and we're going to click Enter to move down so that our file name won't cover up our date, and we're going to put in current date. And then when you click off, you'll see the file name and the date, the path and the date. And if your file path wraps around to 2 lines, it may, depending on where you've saved it and how the system puts that path in there. Then you will have your file name and your date in your header. And that's the way you'll need to do all of your Excel files to make sure your name is on things that you turn in. Now let's go back to normal view. So in your view buttons down here, click normal. Press Control Home if necessary to go to the beginning of the document. We're going to go to Page Layout tab. We're going to go to Orientation, and we're going to change Landscape. And every time that you are ready to print, you need to set a print area. Because let's just say I want to do this. You don't do this. I want to just demonstrate this to you. If I go to the end of the document by some crazy mistake that I make, and I put something in that bottom cell, and then I go home and I tell it to print. Again, you're just watching, you're not doing this. It's going to show me a print preview. It's taking it a while to process it. It's taking it a long while to process it. You see how many pages down here are going to print. I have 30,842 pages of paper going to print if I do something that crazy. So I do not want to make that mistake. So to avoid that kind of mistake, I'm always going to go to my Page Layout tab. I'm going to select the range of data that I want to print, and then so I want to print, and let me just show you this. We can select a range, and a range is a group of cells. So if I want to print A1 through, we do the through with a colon, and I want to do R, I just want to see part of the dates, I don't need to see everything, A1 through R24, and press enter. It will select that range for me, and all I had to do was type it in the name box. Really, which is faster, go in here like this, or is it faster to do A1 through R24? To me, it's faster typing it in the name box, especially if it's a large range. Okay, so a few things we're going to do. First, you always need to select the range and click the print area. So click the print area and then choose set print area. And then you will get a dotted line around your print area. Now this little dotted line with the small little dots, that shows you where your page is going to break. This will be on page 1, this will be on page 2. We're going to go to the orientation and change it to landscape. Maybe I already did that. I see that it is changed. And then let's change the margins to narrow. And also in here, many times you will be told to scale it to fit to one page. So you will change the width to one page and the height to one page if told. Now sometimes you may just be told to change it to one page wide. So fit to 1 by 1. This doesn't automatically open every time. For some reason it did automatically open for me. And click OK. And then also we want to print. We want to view the grid lines. You can see the grid lines on the paper, on the spreadsheet on the screen. You can choose not to view the grid lines, and you can choose not to view the row and column headings. I do not recommend working that way because it makes it more difficult. But we also want to print the grid lines and headings. So click those, check those 2 boxes. And then we want to also print the row and column headings. So we can click the page setup dialog box launcher and go to the sheet tab and then tell it to print row and column headings. So have that checked. Then you can print preview and you can see it's all going to fit on one page. It'll print kind of small. It's going to print also the row and column headings, row headings. And you see our header up there with our file name and our date. And now you can hit print. I want you to print to the Dell printer. I don't have that installed on mine, so I can't show you. But the Dell 1815 printer, print to the Dell 1815 printer, or to the black and white printer if you're in Miss Beck's lab. Print to the printer she specifies. 3, 2, 1. So choose your printer. You're going to choose the Dell 1815 printer or the printer that is specified by your teacher in your lab. I don't have, this is my home computer, so I don't have the same computer options or printer options that you do. And then choose the print button. And when you do, it'll tell you you're printing. Now let's look at setting document properties. If we go into Backstage View, we click the File tab. This is Backstage View. In the right hand side, if you have Info chosen, in the right hand side you see the Properties pane. And you see the author, who last modified it. You can show all of the properties that are there. And then we can also choose to customize or add information into the properties. So click down the drop down arrow here and choose Show Document Panel. The author's name, as your name should be, and then the title of this document is Excel Practice 2. The subject, Basic Excel Overview. And comments, Practice along with video tutorial is the comments. Take a screenshot. Click your print screen button. Open a new Excel and paste this in here. Click paste. You can close the document properties now and print this screen showing me that you have entered the document properties. So go to File and let's print preview. Go to File, Print, and you see the preview. It's going to be on 3 pages. Let's change the orientation to landscape. See what that does. It's going to be on 4 pages. So we need to choose here scale to fit, fit sheet on 1 page, and that did that for us. Okay, let's also change our margins to narrow so we can do some of that print setup in here. When we're printing the text though, you always want to go to Page Layout tab, select your range, and set your print area. But today we did all of that in our print. We set to print here because all we have was that picture in there. So let's print this. Choose your printer. If you need to print to the Dell printer, the black and white printer. Retrieve it from the printer and turn it in. And we are finished with our first Excel tutorial.